It's been 6 months since I last made a video on this channel. 6 months of silence, but not 6 months of standing still. Now I'm about to turn 50, and before I say anything else, I want to share with you exactly where I've been, exactly what's been going on, and why I'm not bringing the previous me, the older version of me, into the new decade. I also have my notes here because I want to make sure that I tell you everything that I plan to tell you and don't leave anything out. So the truth is that the last 6 months, even the last year actually, has not been glamorous. There's no big reveal, but there have been some life-changing moments. I will start with last August. Also, the last video I made, I probably had sister locks. I cut my sister locks last July, so I'm coming up on a year. But that's another video about life after sister locks. But August of 2025, while we were on a cruise, me, my husband, and children were taking our kids on a back-to-school cruise. My father-in-law unfortunately passed away while we were on a cruise, while we were at sea. And that's another story. But when he died, my mother-in-law started living with us right after that. What we didn't know was that my mother-in-law had moderate stage dementia. Now, we already knew there were some memory issues, but it wasn't diagnosed as dementia, and we didn't know how bad it was until my father-in-law died and we had to take her in. That is also another story, and if you are a caretaker, please comment below. How do you do it? What resources do you use? And especially if you are a woman taking care of your mother-in-law. You know, there's different dynamics into that. But life changed after that because you go from raising your kids, doing whatever you need to do, living life, and like now, yes, my father-in-law passed, which was a big deal because he was a major part of our lives, to taking care of my mother/mother-in-law. And it was just a life-changing experience. From August to December, we cared for her full time. And then starting in January, after having a talk with my brother and sister-in-law that we needed some help, we started doing 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So we get her 2 weeks, they get her 2 weeks. And that has been a tremendous help. But it's still a lot because that short-term memory loss is no joke. Like I said, she started living with us in August. In November, I have got a stress rash because I was stressed out. I had got a rash from my neck all the way to my feet. I still have scars from that rash, and the dermatologist didn't know what it is, took a biopsy, said it could be XYZ, but when the biopsy came back, they said we need more tests, but it had went away by then. But it was 3 weeks of just full-blown hives, itching, and I had never broke out like that before, but I know I was stressed to the max, and my body was letting me know. So since then, I got a new therapist. I hadn't had a therapist in a couple of years, but I got a therapist off of growth therapy, and I love my therapist. And he has helped me tremendously. It is actually a Black man, and our appointments are viral because he's in another city, but I have enjoyed our sessions. I look forward to talking to him. I like his perspective. He listens to me, and he asks me some really thought-provoking questions, and I just love it. So if you also go to therapy and found a great therapist, comment below as well. Another thing, in the last 6 months, my daughter graduated high school. So in August, when my father-in-law passed, he unfortunately passed right the week before my daughter started her senior year. So if you're a parent of a high school senior, put that in the comments, because you know senior year is no joke. I went through that a couple of years ago with my son, but then going through it with your daughter is a different experience. Girls require more, do more, are more sometimes. And she was also a student athlete. So she was a student scholar and an athlete. So she was trying to get a scholarship for track. And I'm a hands-on mom. So I'm trying to find scholarships. I'm trying to do all the things. And you know, with senior year, you got prom, you got homecoming, grad bash, cap and gown, all the senior pictures, all the things that come with it, going to ceremonies, and at the same time trying to take care of your mother-in-law who has dementia and her needs are met when you're going out, making sure everything's covered. It was a lot. And I have 3 kids too. So the other 2 still need attention as well. So it's just been a lot trying to figure out our new normal, which isn't the normal that I desired, which was a hard normal to get used to, which is a normal I'm still trying to get used to. In addition to that, still working my nonprofit, which is the Knighten Project. And if you don't know, I provide brand new suitcases to teens aging out of foster care, and they're also filled with everyday essentials. I've been doing that the past 6 months as well. I started doing more videos on TikTok in regard to the Knighten Project, and I'm so grateful to all the people who have donated, because they have donated suitcases, they donated essentials, they've donated money to help us buy the suitcases and the essentials, and I'm so grateful. That work has not stopped. I even have some more good news in regards to the Knighten Project, but I'll save that for a little bit later. And one thing I started talking about 6 months ago on another platform was my Golden Girl era. Like I said, even before my father-in-law passed, I started saying, I got a year and a half to go before I turn 50, and I want to do all the things. And I know that I keep referencing my father-in-law passed, but that was the switch. That was the switch that changed our life. It was totally unexpected. He was not sick. And so when we found out, it just shifted. It just shifted our life. And so I started talking about the Golden Girl era and getting prepared a year early for my 50th. I turned 50 in now 6.5 months from now. And in that time, I've hired a trainer, a type 1 diabetic trainer, to help me manage my blood sugar, for one, because I was not doing the best job with the information that I had. But with my coach, I've already gone down 2 points on my A1C in 2 months. I went from a 169 pounds, which is the heaviest I've ever been, not being pregnant, down to currently 155, y'all. And my goal is 150. So I'm definitely gonna reach my goal. So, and because my coach, he's a type 1 diabetic as well. He's had type 1 for 26 years. So our primary, what was most important was learning how to manage that blood sugar. Then we worked on fitness. Then we worked on nutrition. Then we worked on fitness. So it's like a triangle, because type 1 diabetics have to do things differently. And I have been working out for years and doing all the things, but didn't realize how to do it as a type 1 diabetic. So that was the aha moment. And that's one of the things I've been doing over the last couple of months. Also, with my Golden Girl era, I have, been getting my blood work done, just doing everything from the mental work with my therapist. I had a test with Function Health, and they, as y'all can see, like these glasses, they keep slipping. Like, if you've never heard of Function Health, it's a company that you pay a one-time fee and you get 2 tests. You get them 6 months apart. And the first test is about 100 plus things of lab work. And then when you get your test results, they tell you what's in range, what's out of range. And then 6 months later, you get the same test again to see if those things that are out of range, that you did better in 6 months. And it's called Function Health. The blood work comes back on this beautiful dashboard. And then after all the blood work comes in, they have their doctors write a clinician report for each lab based on your blood work about what you can do, what's good, what foods to eat, what supplements to take. So I also had that done recently. I had it done last year, 2025, and I just had my 2026 blood work done. So, and this time, I found out that I am moderate to severe anemic. So guess what? Because of that, and it wasn't even the iron was intact, but it was a blood work called ferritin, which is how the iron is stored. And that was below average for over a year. My white blood cell count was going down. So I got a iron infusion for the first time last week. So like I said, I'm working on every aspect of me as I become who God wants me to be. Also turning my in-laws' house into an Airbnb. So that is my big project I'm excited about. I've never did that before. Now, me and my husband have some property in Jacksonville, which are Airbnbs. We rented them out, then we turned them into Airbnbs, but I don't manage that. My husband's cousin manages it. And so I don't know the first thing about managing it because we don't live in Jacksonville. So this is going to be my project where I'm managing it, getting the furniture, turning it in from one thing to another. I'm going to be showing that on YouTube as well. So that is one project that I am excited to partake on. And another big thing that has happened in the last 6 months is that me and my husband bought a building, guys. We bought a commercial building. One thing that I started doing that I really didn't make a public announcement, but I guess I kind of did, not on YouTube or whatever, but I started working with my husband. He's a real estate agent, and the brokerage is called the Knighten Group. And he opened his own brokerage in February, and we bought a building in February. And we are renovating it now. Hopefully it will be done in the next 30 days. So we can have a grand opening. Now, the great news is that, yes, it's called the Knighten Group, brokerage, investing, mortgages, etc. But it is also going to house the Knighten Project, which is the nonprofit. So all the things that are in my garage will now have a home in our new building, which is just 10 minutes away from our home. So that is a blessing. And another reason why I was not really coming on YouTube, because I just had, outside of everything that I've already said going on, I really had to question, all the things that I had going on before the trajectory turned when my father-in-law passed, and how I wanted to show up on YouTube. What did I want to share? I've always showed up online, and my mind is shifting, my desires are shifting, what I want to do is shifting, and I wanted to be intentional, and I really, really wanted to think about how I came on this platform. And then, especially with the Golden Girl era, I was super excited about it, because when I was younger, of course, 50 always looked old, felt old. But as I'm approaching, knocking on the door, it's older. But it's not old, okay? These people, these 50-year-old ladies out here, plus are thriving, looking good, healthy, doing the thing, and I want that to be me. And so 50 is not the end. It is a new beginning, and there is life on the other side of 50. There is still opportunity. There are still great things, and I'm looking forward to doing it. I'm looking forward to crossing over into my Golden Girl era, and that's what I call it, my Golden Girl era. So this isn't a pivot video. This is a coming out video, or coming into video. So let me tell you what this channel is going to be going forward, because I believe you deserve clarity, not just content. Everything I do is going to live in 3 places. Okay, the first is the Knighten Project / the Knighten Group. The Knighten Project is my charity work, and that is one thing I love to do and that I will not stop. You won't necessarily always see it here on the YouTube channel, but just know that the Knighten Project will always be given to teens aging out of foster care year-round, and working with the Knighten Group, which is helping people buy, sell, and invest and generate wealth for their own family. The second is right here. This channel is officially my home base. Everything I create, including my podcast, Dream Girl Dream, Golden Girl Era content, is going to live here first. Third is speaking. I am so excited to finally step forward and speak into rooms that I used to be scared of and not wait for permission. One of the things that I did when on my hiatus from YouTube was get my birth chart done. So I put in my birth chart online, and if you want the birth chart, let me know and I will give you the link to where I went. Got the birth chart done and put it into ChatGPT and Claude, right? Because when you get your birth chart done on the site, you got all these numbers and words, you don't know what it's saying and what it means. But they broke it down, and they both said the same thing, ChatGPT and Claude, and that my gift is to speak, which I knew it. I knew it because in 2023, 2022, 2024, I just kept hearing speak, speak, speak in my head. Speak, 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 speak. And I didn't know how to speak, or not how to speak, but what it was telling me to do. I just heard, hearing the word speak. And if you were my friend and we used to go out to lunch, I would say, I keep hearing speak, but it's how do I speak? And so that was my prayer. How do I speak? How do you want me to speak? God, you want me to speak online? You want me to speak in person? You want me to travel the world? And when I put in my birth chart, it was just so confirming to me. And it was saying that the things that you already been doing, when you storytell, when you speak online, when you share things, you are fulfilling your birth chart. You are fulfilling your purpose. And so I'm like, I need to get back to YouTube. I need to get back in front of audiences. I need to get back to doing what I've always enjoyed doing, but didn't really realize that that was the gift. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to speak. And like I said, I'm excited to get in front of people and be a transformative speaker, not a motivational speaker, so to speak, where I'll motivate you, rah, rah, because motivation can die. But a transformative speaker can help you transform your life, help you change your trajectory, because you are ready to move and do something different. If any part of what I said felt like it was meant for you, this is me asking you to come along. Subscribe, because this is where it's all going to live from now on. And if you want a real first step into your Golden Girl era, I put together something called the Golden Girl Reset, and the link is below, and it's in my link tree as well. And it's free. I'm not asking you to figure out your whole life today. I'm just asking you to take one step, as I am taking one step with you. I'll be turning 50 in 6.5 months, and I will see you on the next video.